It's 2 a.m. You're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling. The room is dark. The house is quiet. Everyone else is asleep, and you know you should be too. But your mind won't stop. You're replaying a conversation from 3 days ago, something you said at lunch, a sentence, maybe just a word. You didn't mean it the way it came out, or maybe you did, or maybe the other person didn't even notice. But what if they did? What if they went home and told someone? What if that's why they seemed a little distant today? Or were they distant? Were you just imagining it? And then, almost like a reflex, your mind jumps to tomorrow. The meeting you have to attend, the email you haven't replied to, the thing you promised yourself you'd finish last week. And before you know it, you're not just thinking about tomorrow, you're catastrophizing about next month, next year, whether you're on the right path, whether any of this is working, whether you are enough. You haven't moved, you're still in bed. But inside your head, you've lived through 3 different disasters, had 5 imaginary arguments, and visited a future that doesn't even exist yet. If any part of that felt familiar, this is for you.
Here's what most people get wrong about overthinking. They think it's a thinking problem. They believe they just need to clear their head or stop worrying so much. But the truth is far more interesting and far more human than that. Overthinking isn't a flaw in your intelligence. In fact, research consistently shows that people with higher emotional sensitivity and deeper empathy tend to overthink more. Your brain isn't broken. It's doing exactly what it was designed to do. It's just doing it in the wrong direction, at the wrong time, for the wrong reasons. The real problem isn't the thoughts, it's the loop. Here's what's happening inside your brain when you overthink. Deep within your brain lives a small almond-shaped structure called the amygdala. Think of it as your brain's alarm system, ancient, fast, and emotionally charged. When it detects something uncertain, something threatening, something unresolved, it fires a signal. Pay attention, this isn't safe yet. In a world of real physical danger, a predator, a storm, a rival, that signal was life-saving. Your ancestors survived because their brains refused to let go of unresolved threats. But you don't live in that world. Your threats today are social, emotional, invisible. An unanswered text, a performance review, a relationship that feels slightly off. Your amygdala doesn't know the difference between a lion in the grass and an awkward silence in a meeting room. To it, uncertainty is danger, and the response is the same. Keep thinking until it's resolved. The problem is, most of what we overthink can never be resolved through thinking alone. You can't think your way to certainty about how someone feels about you. You can't think your way into knowing exactly how the future will unfold. So the brain keeps looping, searching, scanning. It's looking for an exit that doesn't exist. And the more you try to force yourself to stop, the louder it gets. Suppressing a thought is like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. The moment you release the pressure, it shoots right back up.
About a snow globe. You know the ones, a small glass sphere with a little winter scene inside. When everything is still, the water is clear. You can see perfectly. The tiny house, the little trees, the delicate details. But the moment you shake it, the snow swirls up. Everything becomes white noise. You can't see anything clearly. And here's the thing. The harder you shake it trying to see, the worse it gets. Overthinking is exactly that. Every anxious thought, every but what if, every attempt to force clarity, it's another shake of the globe. And what your mind actually needs is for you to set it down, to let the snow settle on its own. You cannot force stillness. You can only create the conditions for it. In the late 1990s, tennis champion Serena Williams spoke in several interviews about a psychological pattern she had to work through early in her career.
The habit of mentally replaying every lost point during a match. A missed serve, a net ball, a moment she couldn't take back. And in replaying it, she was losing the very next point too, because her mind was still living in the last one. Her coach at the time introduced her to a single practice. After every point, good or bad, you have exactly 5 seconds. Feel it, then let it go. Because the next point doesn't care about the last one. The court is always reset. She didn't stop caring about her performance. She didn't become indifferent. She became present. And presence, it turns out, is the opposite of overthinking. The insight wasn't think less, it was think here. So how do you actually do this? Not in theory, but in real life at 2 a.m. when your brain won't stop. There is a method that therapists and neuroscientists both point to, not as a cure, but as a practice. It begins with one honest question, and it goes like this. The first step is simply to name what you're doing, not to judge it, just to observe it. Say to yourself quietly, I am overthinking right now. This sounds almost embarrassingly simple, but it matters enormously. The act of naming an experience moves it from the emotional, reactive amygdala toward the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain capable of reason and perspective. You're not suppressing the thought, you're stepping back from it. You become the observer, not the thought itself. The second step is to ask, is this a solvable problem or an unsolvable worry? These are two completely different things that our brains treat as identical. A solvable problem has an action attached to it. If you're worried about an unfinished report, write a note, set a reminder. Do the one next step you can do right now. That's a problem. Deal with it. But what if they don't like me anymore? That's not a problem. That's a worry. And worries don't have actions. They only have more worries. When you catch yourself in a worry loop, gently redirect with the second question. What can I actually do about this, right now, tonight? If the answer is nothing, you have permission to set it down. The third step is to give your body something real to do. Overthinking lives entirely in the abstract. It has no physical address. And one of the most powerful ways to interrupt a mental loop is to return to the physical world, not to escape it, but to ground yourself back in what's real. Feel the weight of your body. Notice 5 things you can see. Take 3 slow breaths, not as a trick, but as a genuine return to the present tense. Your breath is always in the now. It can bring you back there. And finally, build a thinking window. This is a technique used in cognitive behavioral therapy, and it works surprisingly well. Instead of trying not to think about something all day, you give yourself a dedicated 15 minutes, same time each day, where you are allowed to think about everything that's worrying you, freely, fully. And when those thoughts arise at other times, you tell yourself, not now, I'll think about this at 5 p.m. Over time, your brain learns that the thoughts won't be ignored, they'll just be scheduled, and that's often enough to release the urgency. Here is the thing about overthinking that nobody tells you, and perhaps the most important truth in all of this. Most of the people who struggle with it aren't weak. They're not anxious by nature or broken by experience. They are, more often than not, people who care deeply about doing the right thing, about how they affect others, about not making mistakes, about the future of the people they love. Overthinking is what caring looks like when it has nowhere to go. The goal was never to stop caring. The goal is to learn that caring doesn't require suffering, that you can be thoughtful without being consumed, that you can take something seriously without letting it take you apart. You are not your thoughts. You are the person who notices them. And the moment you truly understand that, The moment you stop arguing with the thoughts and simply watch them pass, something quietly shifts. The snow begins to settle, and you can see clearly again. If this found you at the right moment, take a breath. You're doing better than you think.